Would you be okay with them trading Terry McLaurin for TJ Watt?
Straight up.
No. And I'm not saying that TJ Watt might not be a better, more impactful player at his position. I don't want to trade Terry. I don't think we can make the run we need to make in this window without Terry. We have to come to a contract agreement.
So you're saying that TJ Watt wouldn't have the impact on
Listen, he's a great player.
Every down impact that a Terry
He's probably
McLaurin
better at his position than Terry is at his.
Definitely is. He's one defensive player of the year.
He's probably younger. But
I think it's comparable.
We need we would have no number one receiver. We need a number one receiver.
TJ Watt's older.
Yeah, I personally wouldn't do it.
By what, a couple years?
He's 30.
Oh, so
they're basically
the same age.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't do that.
I think your current setup, you need Terry.
Exactly.
But I do think TJ Watt is a better player. I don't know. We can throw it out to callers. 800-636-1067. It's kind of one of these fantasy deals where...
Who's going to be your number one then?
Tebow.
I just don't think that's what he's cut out to be at this point in his career.
I agree. He's a really good number two at this point, but I don't think you could expect him to catch, 90 balls.
You need but maybe to catch 80 plus balls.
You have more confidence in the offense than you do the defense. And the defense lost their number one sack guy in Dante Fowler Jr. So you bring TJ Watt, all of a sudden you've got this pass rush with one of the best pass rushers in the game. You got Dan Quinn's defense. They brought in Kinlaw. A lot of hype about Deron Payne being in better shape in the mini camp.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he'll have a bounce back season. If you can get the defense, now I get it. You'd have this big hit on offense.
That'd be a big hit on offense.
But maybe if you have confidence in Jaden, the top quarterbacks.
You want to have him have they benefit number one.
The top quarterbacks definitely benefit from having big time receivers, but Josh Allen was supposed to suffer without Stephon Diggs. Seems like he's done okay.
I mean, it's a good sports radio topic, but they're not going to trade Terry McLaurin.
Right. They're going to figure out a way.
They're not going to trade him to Pittsburgh.
I thought you were going to bring up the article where they were talking about the contract demands potentially being as much as $37 million per year.
Where does that come from?
I don't know. I think it's
is that a reliable source?
Who's doing it on a podcast. Maybe he's claiming that's the number he's heard.
That's the Lake Lewis report that we talked about last week.
Oh yeah,
then Mike Fisher, who's a longtime NFL insider, said either that's the most outrageous contract demand ever, or it's an outrageous report.
Right,
erroneous report.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Mike Fisher says 3 years, $100 million, with the guaranteed money being the remaining issue.
Right. That's what they're fighting about. I don't care. What did DK get? Didn't we say DK got $32 million? It should be in that range, I think.
I think he's at 33.
Yeah, 33? Somewhere in that range.
Okay, just figure it out. Put it in that range. I think 37 sounds high, but that's okay to ask. Then you come off it.
Well, that's if they're asking. I mean, who knows if that's
you don't ask for
credible.
You always got to ask for a little more.
I think he's going to
give yourself some compromise room.
He's going to settle in at that 30 to 32 a year. So maybe it's going to be close to $100 million, and then we'll see what the guarantee is.
Maybe it'll be a little higher than what we think. It's possible.
Remember, DK's younger. He signed a 5-year, $150 million contract.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to get anything like that
he's
in
27,
length or total compensation.
I would agree.
Yeah. I think he's going to probably sign another 3-year deal.
Yes, I agree.
And maybe only 2 of the years fully guaranteed. Maybe some sort of partial guarantee on the third year. Yeah,
team option.
And then they have to figure out what the AAV will be. I would be surprised if it was $37 million, but these contracts constantly surprise us. And frankly, I don't care.
Would he sign a 2-year deal or $74 million? If it was, there's your 37 per. I don't think he would.
Most guys at this age.
Would he sign a 2-year, fully guaranteed $74 million deal?
Maybe. Then you put a team option for a 3rd year.
I don't think they're going to get him.
$35 million or something.
I don't think they're going to get him at 37 per year. I think he's going to be in that 32 range.
Let's go to Dennis in Reston. 800-636-1067 if you want to chime in. Dennis, what's up, man? Go with the jumps.
Good morning, guys. Good morning. Good morning. Here's what I have to say about that. Not no, but heck no. Don't trade T.J. Watt for Terry McLaurin. Get Terry signed. Don't ask any questions about it. And if they don't get him signed, somebody needs to be reprimanded for that. That's what I have to say.
Well,
thank you for taking my call.
Well, Dennis, I think you can chill because eventually it's going to happen.
Oh, I'm sure he'll get signed. Yeah, he'll get signed. But no, that TJ, that's goofy stuff. There's so much false rumors coming out all over the place. I'm so sick of it. It's ridiculous. Let's get the guy signed. Let's get him in there and quit playing games. But they play games long enough. We all know that's how it is. But it's gone long enough.
I think it's just kind of standard. Where they are right now, it's kind of standard.
Yeah, of course it is. It is. There's a lot of guys that are doing the same thing all around the league. But, why do we got to be like everybody else? Why can't we get him in there? Right?
I think they'll get him in there. When I'll start panicking is when they start official training camp and he starts missing regular day. After about the third day, I'll start panicking.
So you're going to panic August 3rd.
I don't know, but I won't panic on the first day. Won't panic on the second day. Start to. By the third day, I'll really start breathing heavy and start getting really animated. That's when I'll get nervous.
So Albert
then, no.
Albert Breer came on this station, right? I'm not sure which show he came on, but Albert Breer, one of the top NFL insiders out there, said he doesn't think the negotiations are in a great place right now. And he said, if you're Terry McLaurin, you look at it, you're saying, don't even come to me with anything that doesn't start with a 3, $30 million a year.
Right.
I think it's fair for him to ask for something in that range just based on where the market has gone. I think they will eventually get something done. So he's positive there, but he says right now it's not in a great place.
Right.
Okay. Well, I can't imagine they're millions apart per year. I can't imagine the Commanders want to pay him $25 million a year or less, and he wants $35 million.
What did he get this past year? What was on his deal? Like, what was his AAV?
I want to say it was somewhere in the low 20s.
I thought it was in the high 20s, but he was making a lot of money. But, I remember you asked, I can't remember who the guest was, but you asked about the agent that Terry McLaurin has.
It was Keim.
Okay, and Keim basically left it unsaid, which made us feel like
he insinuated that the agents are a little different.
Yes.
And they're not the standard guys. And
maybe that agent does want $37 million. Mike Fisher said he was saying it's either an outrageous report, meaning he's not believing Lake Lewis. He said, or it's an outrageous ask. Well, the agent might have the outrageous ask, and Lake Lewis might be absolutely correct.
There's nothing wrong with an outrageous ask, and then you come off it.
Exactly.
You got to give yourself room for compromise. I mean, how many times are you going to ask for something and they're just going to give it to you? Never.
I've had recent outrageous asks. All they can do is say no.
Yeah, say no, and then you come off it.
Exactly.
You find some middle ground. I don't know. I'm just the Breer also reporting though, and that was last week, that the negotiations aren't in a great spot.
I didn't hear the interview. I'm not even sure.
I'm
not even sure who he was on. I'm reading an article.
Yeah.
I was off last week. It says during an appearance on 106.7 The Fan. Our station, NFL insider Albert Breer chimed in on McLaurin's standoff.
My guess is that was with Grant and Danny, but who knows? It could have been JP and B Mitch. Hell,
he signed in 22. He signed a 3-year, $68 million deal, which included a $28 million signing bonus. $53 million was guaranteed, so an average annual salary of about $23 million.
23. Right.
This year, he's going to earn. In his last year of his deal, he's going to earn $15.5 as his base. Roster bonus is almost 3, so call that 19. Workout bonus $500K, so call that 20-ish. And his cap hit's 25.5.
Yeah, so he's actually way underpaid.
So he's in that low.
I think he's
20s
way underpaid.
range. He's in the low 20s area.
Yeah, his numbers got to start with a 3.
That's crazy.
Well, he wasn't underpaid considering his production before Daniels got here.
I think at this point he's now underpaid.
Yeah, okay.
I think he's now underpaid.
But he was probably
maybe it was close.
Overpaid for his production before JD got here.
It's crazy though the difference and look, it's the difference between a star player who's a number one receiver and somebody else who's just a contributor. But I looked up Austin Eckler's salary. Do you know what he's making?
I thought it was $5 million.
He signed a 2-year, $8.4 million contract.
All right,
Okay.
so it's $4
He's a
million.
good player.
Yeah,
Signed $3 million signing bonus, $4 million guaranteed.
right.
AAV $4.2 million. They're trying to get him in studio. I was texting with Eckler yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that'd be awesome.
He's very like media friendly. I see
Yeah,
him
he
on-
wants to promote an event.
I see him like he's playing golf with guys on YouTube. Like he's out there, you know.
Yeah, he's a good dude.
We just don't
Well,
have
his
enough.
wife is the one that was featured in that Netflix documentary that had the sister that they used to dance, and then she got in kind of a cult sister.
Right. We just don't have enough weapons on offense where we can even ponder the idea of trading Terry. The only option is to figure it out and get a contract done. That's the only option. Trading him is not an option. We don't have enough weapons. I always hype up the weapons, but you got to have Terry. And I'm hyping up the weapons because everyone else is making fun of the weapons.
The only way you're trading Terry, and it makes sense, is if you're getting a younger receiver that's
like comparable
to him in terms of stats, which you're not going to get. So no team is going to trade a younger player at that position that's putting up similar numbers.
It's not like we have like this plethora of weapons that we could afford to give up. We can't.
What if we
need him?
Jalen Lane. I know it's a reach.
They're not.
Come on.
He's
the guy's going to return.
They do
kicks,
love Jalen Lane,
and he'll make a few
they
plays.
don't love Jalen Lane to be the number one
Yeah,
receiver.
Right. No, Debo would be your number one.
Debo's not a number
everybody
one.
slides up.
He ain't a number one at this point.
Yeah, he wasn't a number one in San Francisco. Ayuk was.
Right.
He's not a number one. He's a number two. That's why McLaurin's going to stay, and they'll figure something out.
They have to figure it out.
It might happen in July, so be prepared for that.
My guess is it's going to happen at the very end.
I mean, we're not that far from July.
Yeah.
All right, we got our mock draft coming up at 8 o'clock as we talk some Wizards. Coming up next, do you still have faith in this rebuild? They made a trade yesterday. Jordan Poole's gone. Now CJ McCollum's here. They got more expiring contracts.
You have to remind me who's on the freaking roster.
Do you have faith? 800-636-1067. We're the Junkies. Coming right back.